Do you know how much stronger and sharper you would be by just that one change? Oh my God. Like, oh my God, I'm already feeling it because I'm not telling you guys anything that I am not in the process of. What's up, loves? Welcome back to my channel. It's your girl, Tiffany T. If you are new here, a super welcome to you. In today's video, we are going to talk about starting over in your 30s. We're going to talk about being able to elevate your life now that you're in this new, really segment of your life. So if that's something that you're interested in, I want you to stay tuned. I want to talk to you today about something that I also think can really mess you up when you're trying to start over, when you're trying to elevate your life, and that is just you starting to do things. And so, my first tip when you want to start over in your 30s, you really want to elevate your life, is don't start with the doing, start with questions. And so, I'm going to give you 5 questions that you need to ask yourself to start over in your 30s. And so, question number 1 is going to be, what did I do in my 20s that simply did not work? Like maybe you lived a lot of your 20s like clubbing, hanging out, you did a ton of smoking, drinking, whatever the case may be, and you look up and you're like, it really didn't get me anywhere. It didn't get me where I wanted to be. Or maybe as I did those things, it was good in the moment, but the fruit of the aftermath just really didn't work. Or maybe I, was just working a 9 to 5 just to get by, but I feel like that's not what fulfilled me. I know that I'm called to do way more than just that. So I want you to ask yourself, what did not work in my 20s that I need to just go ahead and let go of? Sometimes because we have done something for so long, we feel like letting go made it a waste of time. But honestly, if you continue on in that thing and it was not benefiting you, then you are wasting more time. Just think about it. Wherever you are today, whether you're 30, you're 32, you're 34, you're 36, if you stop today, the day that you're listening to this, and you say, you know what? Yes, I had to get up and go to work, but starting tomorrow, I'm going to start writing that book. I'm not just going to be in survival mode working my job, but I'm going to start pursuing the other things that I want to pursue in the next year. Just imagine where you're going to be. Some of you may have the book fully done. But if you stop and you say, you know what, I just got to get my bills paid. I don't have time to stop and be writing. That's not going to bring me money right now. You're going to look up in another year and be in the exact same space. So I want you to ask yourself, what did not work that I absolutely just need to let go of? Now, question number 2 is going to be the opposite of that. What did I learn in my 20s that I really need to carry over into my 30s? Sometimes starting over, and I love when I hear this, you're starting over, but you're not starting over empty handed, right? Maybe when you first approach something, you had nothing. Now, when you approach it, you're approaching it with wisdom, okay? So the things that you have learned in your 20s that maybe you did not implement, maybe again, you were living a little more free without as many, and I don't want to say restrictions, but maybe without as much structure. Now that you're in your 30s and it's like, I got to make better decisions for myself, for my future, for my life, whether you're single, if you're a mom, if you're a wife, if you want to get to those stages, you've definitely got to get more structure in your life. So what did you learn in your 20s? What were you taught by mentors or teachers or leaders or even your parents that you really need to carry over, and you need to continue doing it, or you need to actually start doing it, but now you have the wisdom. Maybe you learned about something with taxes, but again, you were just like, whatever, I'll just file H&R Block. Now that you're in your 30s, it's like, no, I actually need an accountant, like somebody I can sit down with to help me look at my money to make better decisions. So you heard about it in your 20s, but you never applied it because you thought you had all this time. And now what I want to tell you is not this fear of time moves so fast and you don't have the time you think you have, but more so I want you to enjoy more of the time that you do have, because I speak life over you. I speak long life over you, but I also want you to enjoy the life. Now, question number 3, y'all, and I think this is a thing that's going to make sure that when you start over and you do this whole reinvention of yourself, that you actually elevate in something that's going to be sustaining. And that is, what are you being influenced by? Oh my God. What are you being influenced by? I don't know about you guys, but there have been times in my life where I had to get rid of my Instagram. I had to get rid of my Facebook because subconsciously I didn't realize it until I got off of those things and I got into prayer and I was just writing things down and I saw where my life was and I was dealing with anxieties that just didn't make sense. I realized that I was being influenced by the things that I was following and liking and scrolling and seeing unintentionally. There are literally pieces in my wardrobe that I've had just because I saw someone else get it and they talked about how it elevated them. Listen, what elevates you does not elevate me, right? So now that we're like really starting over, we're reinventing ourselves. We are becoming a person that we really can love when we look at the mirror. You have to ask yourself, what are you being influenced by? And even as you're asking that question, you also can kind of put it in there. What do I want to be influenced by? Right? Because for me, I really want to be influenced by God. I want to be influenced by God's original plan for me. When I study in the Bible and I read that I was made in his image and his likeness, like what does that actually look like lived out on earth? That's what I want to be influenced by. And so you have to ask yourself, what am I being influenced by? Why do I want my house to look like this? Why am I wearing these wardrobes? Why is this how I want my hair? Why is this the form of self-care that I do? And I'm not saying that you can't learn from people, that you can't see certain things, and it does make you say, oh, I would actually like that. Let me try it. That's two different things than I am actually setting up my life based on this influence of this person, this voice, this media, right? So you have to ask yourself, because none of what we're talking about today is going to work if you don't realize that your influences are the things that are swaying you to and fro. So please, if you don't ask any other question, ask the question, what am I being influenced by? So my favorite question of today is number 4. What do you want now? Right? Like, listen, when we were in our 20s, again, there are certain things that we just wanted, whether it was because we were being influenced or we just had things in our mind that we kind of thought that we wanted. And now it's like you're getting older, you've lived, you've experienced, there are things that you want. When I tell you guys, I live in the city. I'm not in like the deep like downtown part of the city, but where I live is a little more quaint and a little more quiet. And I realize I am not for the city. Like, I am not for the hustle and the bustle. Like, in my 30s, give me peace, give me quiet. Yes, give me an event here and there, family. I love a good game night. But when it's time for me to go, I don't need to go somewhere where it's tons of traffic, where I'm in a parking garage to park my car. Like, what I want now in my 30s is so different. Okay? How and where I want to eat, what I want to put in my body, so different. So you have to stop. And that's why I said don't jump into just doing things, because if you jump into doing things without asking these questions, I believe that you're being influenced because you have not assessed and reassessed. This is a whole 10 years, right? From 20 to 30. Like, that's 10 years. Come on now. So you have to stop and ask yourself, what do I actually want now, right? This might sound so minor, but some of you may have been wanting to cut your hair. It's time to do it. It's time to do it. You've been doing the longest in. It's what they love, what they want to see, what they want to see. What do you want to see? What do you want? What do you want? You've been wanting to cut your hair. Girl, cut your hair. I'm telling you now, cut your hair. So I need you to just sit down and just grab a journal and just write it out. What do I actually want now? What do I want right now? And those are the things that we're going to do to start over and really elevate our lives. Okay. Number 5. Okay. And this is where we got to get to work, because in order to elevate, you have to actually do. But we're not going to start doing yet. We're still kind of writing down. And number 5 is, how will I get it? Now that I know what didn't work, what's not going to work, now that I know what I actually need to carry over, now that I know what I'm being influenced by, right? And then what I actually want, now it's time to write down, how will I get it? And really, in answering those questions, a lot of the answer is right in the questions that we've already answered, right? Because a part of how will I get, if I want to be more financially stable, I want to be someone who takes more trips. Now the carryover again, I'm not just going to wait and do my taxes, any type of way. I'm going to have an accountant. That's a part of how you're going to get it. I'm going to adjust the way that I scroll. I'm going to unfollow a couple people on social media because I do feel like I'm being um influenced in ways that I don't want to, or seeing things that I don't necessarily want to, right? So the how that do I get it is really going to help you to take the proper actions so that again, this is a sustaining elevation. Ooh, pin it. A sustaining elevation. I don't want to elevate now and then in 3 months I'm like, oh, even though, okay, another part of starting over and reinventing is trying out new things. But again, the goal is try it out because you actually want to try it out. Try it out because it's actually something you want to do. Listen, y'all, I am not a coffee girl. I'm not a mocha girl. As cute as it is for y'all to sit on here and share your Starbucks order, I'm never going to do it. When I go to Starbucks, I get a peach green tea lemonade. There's nothing exciting about that. But when y'all be ordering, okay, can I get a grande mocha latte, caramel infused with Jesus Christ and his disciples? Like, it sounds beautiful. That's not me, right? And so if it's not you don't even want to spend the money. Like, you dread it. But it's cute to order and to show your drink. Like, stop it, right? We are doing this for so we want a sustained elevation. Are you with me? Because I felt that. I didn't even have that in my notes to talk to y'all, but I feel it because that's a journey that I'm on. Like, sustained elevation. I don't want to have to keep your house, like what you're buying. Okay, listen, I love a good Amazon haul video too. But if it's not you, don't go spend the money. Do not live somebody else's life. That's why a lot of us have to start over and have to reinvent. Now, I get it. Some people have gone through divorces. Some people have had miscarriages. Some people have had major career changes, loss in family. So that reinvention is just kind of necessary to get you back going. But some of us are reinventing because our whole life, from our house to our wardrobe to our skincare routine, has been somebody else. And now I'm telling you, stop. How do you get what you want? All right, now that we have asked the questions, I'm going to share with you 5 things that, again, these are not me specific. These are not specific to a person individually. This is something that as a collective, I think we all need to be intentional on doing to start over and actually be able to do it and sustain it and enjoy it. All right. So, thing number one, our do number one is get up in the morning at a time that really allows you to have a slow morning. A part of sustaining what you get or what it is that you want is being able to actually enjoy it. And if you are not being disciplined in your morning, if you're not getting up at a good time, a time before you have to start, right? If your day has to start at 9 and you get up at 8, that doesn't give you enough room to not just shower, eat breakfast, and then it's like, I'm off to the races, especially if you have to leave home. So giving yourself an extra hour or 2 hours, oh my God, can you just imagine how much you can get done? So I want you to give yourself a time, a new time to get up in the morning that really allows you to have a slow morning. Don't have to rush and drink the tea. Okay? Don't have to be pulling up into Starbucks, rushing and praying that they're moving fast because you got to hurry up and get to work. Don't do that. So I want you to be intentional. Give yourself a morning time that allows you, as you can see, I'm not telling you what your morning routine needs to look like. You know what it needs to look like. Maybe you've been trying to, elevate your spiritual life and you want to spend more time in the word, you want to spend more time in prayer, but you don't give yourself enough space in the morning. Can you just imagine if you just did an hour early, if you just did 30 minutes earlier? Now you're up. You don't have to jump in the shower. You don't have to rush for the breakfast. You can just sit and just read one passage and say a prayer. You can do that in 15 minutes. Do you know how much stronger and sharper you would be by just that one change? Oh my God. Like, oh my God, I'm already feeling it because I'm not telling you guys anything that I am not in the process of doing. Okay. And getting up earlier to start my day so that I can have a slow morning, that is absolutely going to sustain our elevation. Thing number two, and this one can really be controversial in the discussion around it, is really how do you want to look? Like, again, now that you're reinventing yourself, I can tell you guys the way that I looked and dressed in my teens, in my 20s, I, it is like literally black versus white. It is crazy when I look at my wardrobe and old pictures and what I used to love and what I used to like. And now that I am older and everything is changing, when I tell y'all, I just told my fiance I have a new vibe, right? And so when I get dressed, and I'm going to use the same method when I go shopping, when I get dressed, my goal, okay, is rich husband, country club luxury vibes. That is how I want to look, even when I'm in like my dress down clothes. So it's really clean looks, really monochromatic looks, really timeless looks, not a lot of like bright colors. That is where I am in this season. I'm loving it and it's timeless. So I just feel like even if I go through a season where it's like, oh, I want more bright colors or I want more prints, I can just add those things and not have to completely swap out of my wardrobe. But listen, you guys, that didn't come from anywhere and anyone but me. This is what I decided I see and I'm starting to love. And I think about, or I remember or picture, I see certain things in my closet and I'm like, that's just not me. That does not work. It doesn't vibe with what I want. Remember, we talked about what do you actually want, right? You want to travel more. You want to enjoy different restaurants, like whatever the case may be that it is for you. You want a better spiritual life, whatever that looks like. How do you actually want to look as well? And I talked about that earlier. Some of you just want to cut your hair. You may feel like it gives you a more mature look. Some of you may want to color your hair. You feel like you've been so restricted, right? And you just want to be a little more colorful. You want to be a little more vibrant. How do you want to look now that you're starting over? Now that you're reinventing yourself? Forget what anybody else has to say. Anybody else has to say. Now I get it. Some of you may be married, right? And you may want to run it past Bay because if he love you long and you like, I'm going Halle Berry, maybe you will want to have conversations, right? And my prayer is that you have, the type of spouse that's open enough to, as you're trying new things, be supportive. But again, that's why I said this can be so controversial as a topic. But what I'm telling you is to know how you want to look. And a great way, because this is in our do. This is not just, we're not just writing down how I want to look. This is actually a part of the do. So one of the things that I want you to actually do is go through your closet. Like go through your wardrobe and start to look and see and try on stuff. If you've had that thing more than 3 years, more than 4 years, try it on. Does it still fit? Do you still like the color? Do you still like the print? If not, go sell some stuff, go give some stuff away, go donate some stuff. Like who doesn't feel great when you donate? I've had young ladies at my church who I've literally bagged up clothes and gave them to them and they love them because they were still great clothes. They were just not a part of how I want to look, right? And so that's something that I actually have in the works for myself. I do wardrobe cleanouts for sure at least once a year because I don't want to be holding on to something, first of all, that could also be a blessing to someone else, but two, it does not sit well with me. Because then what happens is when you have just day to day, you have events coming up, you have things that you have to do. If the only thing in your closet that you have to pull from is something that's not you, what do you think that's going to make you feel? That's why you're constantly in that feeling of, oh my God, looking at other people and loving and being influenced by them because they have chosen who they want to be. And what you're attracted to is not necessarily what they're doing, but you're attracted to their commitment to what they want and them living that out. And so I want you to live and be the exact same. Live out what you want, live out how you want to look. And so I just started, the journey with it. I really have to go through my closet because also I get it, y'all. Like not all of us just got money to just go and be like, oh, a completely new wardrobe and let me just go tear up Aritzia. No, we don't all have that, right? So I want you to take your time, but I also want you to actually do it. Like, do it. And even, I'm not even saying taking your time to clear out the wardrobe, maybe taking your time to refill it up. But if you have to repeat a shirt, repeat jeans, repeat, listen, that's why we have a washing machine. But I would rather you clear the wardrobe of the things that don't fit, the things that are not you, the prints you don't like. I would rather you clear it so when you go into your closet, it's a closet that you love. This becomes sustaining. And then as you slowly put pieces in there, you just feel it's just a breath of fresh air. So I want you to ask yourself seriously how you want to look. All right, our number three, as far as the do. Oh my God, this is so important. What do you need in relationships? It is time for you to go through and actually assess your relationships. Something that I have learned over time is like most of our friendships and like relationships in our lives were not by choice per se. And what I mean by that is it's like this is just who I grew up with in the neighborhood. This is who I went to school with. This is who I went to church with. This was my mom's best friend's kids, you know? And sometimes they just come into our lives and then it's kind of default, if you will. But how many people, there's actually someone in my life right now who she and I have been communicating and we've kind of been talking a little bit more, and I was thinking to myself like I should tell her like I actually like you as a person. Like I want us to nurture a friendship. I want to ask you, how many people have you actually done that with? Because we don't. Sometimes it's literally by default. And a lot of times when people like fall out or things don't go the way that we expected, it's because we haven't communicated really what we want and what we need. Like, how awkward does that sound? Hey, I want to be your friend. And it's not awkward at all, but it's not a norm. So it sounds awkward. But when you talk about starting over and elevating to a sustainable elevation, you've got to be particular in your conversations. And again, the things that you needed in your 20s could have been a hangout buddy. The things that you need in your 30s is an accountability partner. Like, like we don't even have to hang out like that. But accountability, like, what are your goals? What are my goals? And that could be our hanging out. I'm super excited because for the entire second quarter, I had an accountability group. It was myself and four other ladies. We got up Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 5 a.m. We got on Zoom. We would talk about our goals. We would talk about different things that God was doing with us then. And it was amazing. And so June 30th is the last day of the month. And that's on a Sunday. And we're actually going to get together and we're going to grab our favorite drinks. We're going to grab a snack and we're going to get together in person at a super cute hotel. And we're just going to hang out and talk about our plans for quarter three. That's what I need in my 30s. Like, I don't necessarily need nobody to go to the mall with me. I can go to the mall by myself. Okay. I don't need people to go to the restaurant with me. Me and my fiance, date nights, I'm good with it. I need girlfriends that are looking to, be accountable to our goals and really moving forward to our destiny. So you have to ask yourself, like, what do I need in relationships? And then I need to assess the relationships that I have. If there are any conversations that say, hey, I think we probably need to nurture this better because I do think you're a great friend, but I would love for us to have more time together. Or some people where you need to have those conversations like, listen, this is what we've been doing for so long and we do it, but it's actually not working for me anymore. So let's readjust. And then there may be people that you see that maybe you don't talk to, but there's something that attracts you to them. In your 30s, we are not being scared. We're reaching out. Let's have conversations, right? And then on the flip side, now this can get long, so I ain't even gonna do it. Your romantic relationships. If you are in something that is not serving you, girlfriend, stop. Okay. That would just have to be a whole separate video because I just got too much to say about that. But again, we need to be doing things that are serving us based on what we want now. Okay, I probably said this already. This is thing number 4, but this is probably my favorite one. And it is, how do you want to feel? And the reason this is my favorite one is because at all times we are feeling something, right? So whether you're happy, you're sad, you're in work mode, you're depressed, you're excited, you're in anticipation, we're always in a feeling. And so when I say, how do you want to feel? Again, this is a part of the do. How you want to feel, The way that you're going to do that is by the experiences that you create around you. Something that I'm learning in my 30s is that word experience is so big. And for me, everything is an experience. When I drink my tea, the cup, the mug that I'm drinking is an experience for me. I can't just do any kind of mug. I can't. It has to be a beautiful, timeless, rich husband, country club type mug. That's not just in my wardrobe. That is everything. Okay. I would drink water out of a wine glass because it is the experience for me. Your body care, your skin care. Again, if you want to travel more, for me, one thing that I'm really looking forward to in my travels, throughout the rest of my 30s is like the experience of great hotels. Like I actually really like hotels. So my goal is like when I go out and I travel, like let's try to do different hotels. And I understand you can stay at the hotel and same hotel and get points. Listen, I got an Amex. We'll just put the points on the Amex. But just different hotels. And when I go, that's a part of the entertainment. Like don't just sit up in a room. Like walk the hotel. What can you do in the lobby? Go to their fitness center, use the fitness center. Even if you don't swim, like put your feet in the pool. Y'all, this is all about how I want to feel. Life is going to throw so much at us that we are not going to be able to control. Some stuff we are not going to see coming. So while I can control and I can determine on the day to day how I want to feel, I'm going to be intentional about creating those experiences. So again, I want you to think about that. When it comes to you getting in the shower, right? Most of us just want to get clean. At the end of the day, we want to be clean. But if you want to, start smelling better, start researching or going to the stores. Like one of my hacks, honestly, you guys, is like your Burlington Co Factory, TJ Maxx, Marshalls, all the little body care section. They have really inexpensive body washes, but they are amazing. They smell great. Get exfoliants. Try an exfoliant glove. That is an experience in the shower. And I'm just kind of telling y'all some of how I want to feel. And it is in every single area of my life. So I want you to create experiences for yourself. And that's going to be based on how you want to feel. So the last and final thing, even though, of course, when you sit down and you write things like what you want, how you want to feel, there are going to be things that I did not say in this video that you have to implement for yourself. That's the whole purpose. I don't want everything you do to be influenced by what someone else says. Sit down and realize some things about yourself that you did not hear from anyone else. But the last way that I want us to focus on really elevating ourselves and starting over and really, being able to reinvent ourselves is focusing on financial and career goals. And so what I mean by that is don't just work. Don't just work. What are those financial goals going to do for how you want to feel, right? For me, again, when I talk about what I want, is more travels, more hotel experiences. So now when I'm working, I'm not just working to pay bills, I'm working to support my travel experience, right? So when you sit down and you look at these goals, how do they fit into the whole of my starting over? How do they fit into the whole of me reinventing myself? Again, most of us, I want y'all to comment below, maybe put a dress or something in the comments if you're like me and it's time to do a wardrobe revamp. So my financial goals, maybe my career decisions, I talked about somebody writing a book. That book could be bringing in funds that again could finance. Maybe you want more luxury items and it could finance it. So all of this plays a huge part in the whole of sustaining the elevation. And one thing that I do want you all to focus on is being debt free. Do not ignore it. Okay. I am on a whole plan and a whole path to really be debt free. Of course, bad debt, because good debt is obviously a good thing. But I'm on a whole plan to be debt free. Like by the time I turn 40, I want nothing but good debt. Nothing but good debt in my life. And really, I want to enjoy that debt freedom in my 30s. But I'm just saying that goal is like by the time I hit 40, the type of party we have, I'm gonna be celebrating my birthday, but they don't have any idea. I'm celebrating the sustained elevation that I created here in my 30s. So listen, I hope that you enjoyed that video. I'm so excited for all of us to just have the opportunity to sit down, start over, take those steps, ask those questions. Before you do, ask those questions. So I love you and I'll see you in the next video.